Hi everyone, I hope you're all. This is CoinsKid. Just going to dive into Bitcoin once again. Thank you for support. Okay, big up the CoinsKid crew. So right now, this particular pattern here, as spotted by Brendan at Market Makers, this bullish continuation pattern, the three rising valleys, is holding strong. Okay, and the reason is because we've not lost this low. If we lose this low, then you can see, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to see that you're going to come down. So this particular pattern is holding really strong at the moment. I've shown you that the technical breakout is that level there, and you're looking at 107k in this bull run. Okay, which is my technical target for many moons now. Since we're lowballed down here, we're starting to come back up and attack that, break that high, with substance and hold them back to support, and you're in 107k Bitcoin target right there for for Bitcoin. So it's doing everything it needs to for the continuation of that. You've got that whopping ascending triangle on the monthly as well, where you're coiling up inside of support. The only negative bearish pattern that I'm seeing here is not even created yet, and it's a potential head and shoulders pattern moving forward for Bitcoin. There's your left shoulder, there's your head, and right now if we start to rally and start to come up, and then create something called a dead cat bounce, where we get the retracement to the high around about 50%, 68%, whatever you want to call it, and then you roll over and you lose this key level support, then you're coming down obviously, and you'll have a technical target, and I've shown you that. I think it's 20k, isn't it, roughly, guesstimation. But we will trade upon that event as it happens. Obviously it's not happened yet, so we can't sort of take any action at the moment. It is a bit of hopium at the moment, isn't it? So Bitcoin for me is holding support. You're holding this particular pattern, which is a really nice bullish continuation pattern. It's actually ranked in the top 10, and I'll show you right now. Okay, so this is an amazing resource. This is called the Pattern Site, and there was a famous guy that lived a long time ago called Tom Balkowski, sorry, I need to say it properly. Unfortunately he passed away, I think 1959. He was about 64, I think it was. He has got a book out, the Encyclopedia of Chart Patterns, which is an amazing book. Okay, amazing book. Get that book and research it. Okay, so it's an index of all the patterns created by Thomas Balkowski, and you can see this three rising valleys has an overall performance rank of 6 out of 39 continuation patterns. Okay, and usually the pattern appears on either the daily or the weekly chart, and that's exactly what we've got right now. I'm going to drop a link to this particular pattern in the video today, so you can go there, have a look, see what you think, and research it yourself. But in a minute, we are holding this pattern, aren't we, for the continuation of the trend which we're in, which is effectively an uptrend. I know on the daily time frame we have entered a downtrend and we're losing support and we're hitting our head on the EMAs, but that's what happens. Just here we start to hit our head on the EMAs, start to get back above, boom. Here, hit on the head on the EMAs, found support, get back above, boom. And like I said to you so many times, if you're looking for a fantastic signal to get involved in Bitcoin, wait for the buy and go to the beach on the weekly, on the daily time frame. Okay, so I'm looking at Bitcoin on the daily time frame here then, and I did say to you earlier in the week, you are beginning to form some kind of broadening descending channel for Bitcoin. Okay, it was on the thumbnail, and I did a bit of TA update on the daily time frame. You can see resistance, support. You could short here and long here, short here and long here. You chip chop sideways. I think that you're coming down. I think that you're trying to get to that. Obviously, if you start to break this level of resistance right now, because you can see at the moment on the daily, you're struggling to close above 0618 at 49011. You can see you're closing below it. See that? So you're hitting your head, and with that, it gives a more probability to the fact that you're going to roll and come down and get a wick off that level of support right there. Start to come back up, break that, and then you're looking at retracement to where you form the wedge. Probably get a little wick up to that, and then roll again. Now that will put the absolute fear in God into people, and people will think, oh shit, it is a dead cat bounce. We are going to form that right shoulder, and we are going to go down. But what I want to show you right now is that this particular scenario here has happened already. Okay, and we traded all this together. We did all this together. And if you go back to this event here, I did say to you, was creating some kind of falling wedge, okay, falling channel, and you were creating some kind of broadening falling wedge just there, and you escaped it. You were coming down like this, and you escaped it, and you ran into where you formed the wedge. Do you remember this? Okay, and I said to you, look, if you break that wedge, you're going to start to come back up, but you didn't, because this, my friend, this whole event is called accumulation. Okay, Wyckoff accumulation, up, down, left, sideways, and then you get the breakout, the V-shaped recovery. So I do think that we're mirroring this. So we don't want to see some breakout immediately for Bitcoin in the current time frame. Okay, we start to see that. That's going to increase the possibility that this scenario here is a dead cat bounce. So I think that what we're doing here is going through a very similar scenario, this reaccumulation scenario scenario that we went through here for Bitcoin. We had this correction, okay, come down, we had this ABC correction, we lowballed out, and then we start to come back up the stairs, okay. So we are kind of mirroring it. We are coming down in this broadening channel. Look, we've got this broadening channel that we're coming down in, and if we start to break this resistance, you'll see ourselves come up and retest where you form the channel, which would be roughly, you know, around about 52k, and with that you're sort of mirroring this particular event here. Now at that point you run into that resistance and then you roll and you put in a lower low. Basically you come down, put in a lower low, and you come back up, coil up, and then you put in another retest of that low, and then you're gone, basically. So we're looking for a very, very similar scenario here, this accumulation range that we went through, you know, without any kind of dead cat bounce. We go through a very similar scenario, we come up, we rally into resistance, potentially Wyckoff for 050, 52315, and that will offer a fantastic short up, because at that point I do think potentially your Bitcoin is going to come down and retest this 1414, okay, and that's where you get some cheeky bids in if you lose the 786. Now this is all what ifs, but it is mirroring it at the moment. So what I'm looking at is a break this resistance, okay, start to come back up, potentially get a wick off that, you know, and you retrace into where you form this wedge, something like that, boom boom, then you roll again, okay, and at that point it's going to be really nasty. People are going to shit themselves thinking we're entering a bear market, but all we're doing is mirroring this reaccumulation for the next leg up out of here, basically, for Bitcoin. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at that till I'm not, and then your free values is held, you know, and your bullish continuation patterns holding as well. So this is basically Bitcoin. It's frustrating, isn't it? Chip chop sideways. We'll try and trade the ups and downs, but that's all it can do at the moment. There's nothing else to be said than other that we're holding support, okay, so we're holding support, don't go short, basically. Now you can trade all these little events, you know, the up and down, and you know, the chip chop sideways. Look, for example, you could have opened a lovely little long there, come back up, open a lovely little short there, open a lovely little long there, lovely little short there, lovely little long here, and right now you potentially, if you don't break that level of resistance, because you are closing under the 0618, if you fail to break that, this could open another little short right now on Bybit, okay, with a stop loss to come back down to retest this low down there, get that wick off there, start to come back up. That's where you break out, you wick off the 050, and then you roll again and you come down and retest this 1414, all tradable, okay. And at this point here you can open a nice big fat juicy long up with stop losses, obviously, on Bybit. So that's basically Bitcoin. Hope you enjoyed that quick little update today on Bitcoin. I'll drop a link to that pattern site for you, okay. Take care everyone, bye bye.